say a quick prayer. Let's get into it, honey. Let's get into it, honey. Surprise, bitch. Thought you'd seen the last of me? Just kidding. We're back. Episode 4. Episode 4, you guys. This isn't just a phase. We're doing this. Today, we're going to be talking about how you are moving to LA wrong. But first, we need to talk about if it's a lost cause. Is LA dead? Okay, so it's actually been a couple weeks since I filmed life has a way of lifing. God is a woman and she has a sense of humor. I forgot to clean my glasses. But yeah, life just be lifing. So we're here, but thank God I don't have a contract. I don't have an official schedule, so I get to do what I want, which is something we should be doing more of. Doing what we want. And that's kind of what today's episode is going to be about. There's a lot of talk, at least on my TikTok feed, discourse about the new show, I Love LA, Rachel Sennot's new program, which we are so happy for. And she just got signed for a second season. So to you, Rachel. But it's got the girls' ruffles, feathers a little bit ruffled. So we're going to unpack that a little bit. But most of the discussion is what is this show? What makes an Angelino native versus transplant? And I kind of want to first, before we jump into that discourse as a transplant, let's just talk about LA for a moment. And what it is that we're defending and what it is that's got us all worked up about. Because I would argue LA is dead. That's my hot take. Maybe not dead, but it's become too meta. Let's get into it. Life imitates art, imitates life, imitates art. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the reason why this is even being discussed, and that's what pop culture is all about, is what is going on in real time. LA is in the midst of quite a transformative, volatile state between the ice raids and the Olympics coming into town soon, and everybody's striking. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy being had. There's a lot of feelings in the room, outside the room, out in these streets, okay? So, we're having an identity crisis. As someone who isn't a native, maybe it's easier for me to see. And some who may think I'm talking out of my ass because I've only been here 6 years might not have the credentials to speak on behalf of an entire city. But I do, as an outsider, it's sometimes easier when you're not so close to it and you have less emotional attachment. Maybe it's easier. So I won't say that LA is dead. However, LA is definitely in the midst of an identity crisis, and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to do our best as creators, or I'd like to see as creators in the area and all across the world to hopefully practice more of this. And as we go through this, maybe that made sense. Maybe it didn't, but I'm moving on and I'm tired of talking about it. Okay, so the first thing I kind of want to talk about when it comes to this clear this in identity and what makes Los Angeles Los Angeles. The Dodgers just won their third World Series in a row. Sports, who knows? I know it's a big deal because I lived in San Francisco when the Giants did it in 5 years. They won 3. I think the Dodgers have done it back to back to back, which, like, kudos to you boys out there. Good sports playing on you boys. However, as I mentioned before, this is like fresh off the heels of the crazy ice raids we were seeing, sweeping the streets, wrecking families, ending businesses. You can't, in my opinion, say fuck ICE and go Dodgers. Like, make that make sense to me. Miss Vanessa Hernandez, Neza, who was banned from the stadium for life for singing the national anthem in Spanish on Mexican Heritage Day, was it not? Regardless, like, you hear Los Dodgers in as much as you hear Dodgers out here. Like, those two things share the same identity, does it not? But, like, there was the Chavez Ravine. The whole stadium itself displays so many working class Mexican families. So it's a very, very interesting fine line, because I understand that you can love something without always making it about politics. Like, what is so special about Dodgers is the camaraderie and the team. Like, it's the same thing I feel when I go to a concert. Like, having everybody jumping up and down all for the same thing. It's the reason why church is a thing. It's the reason why the Trump rallies were so effective, because even in their fucked up way of thinking, being in a room with all the same, for the same reason, and to celebrate that is very, very magical. It's called the human experience, by the way, for everyone that just hangs out online. Go touch grass. Go spend time with humans. It'll feel very religious, church-like even. So the point of that being is I understand the camaraderie, multi-generational traditions of watching sports. I am from the Bay Area, and I know San Francisco 49ers like many know the Catholic Church. I'm baptized. I'm non-practicing. I don't go to church on Sundays. However, I am of the Catholic faith. That's the same way I am with the San Francisco 49ers. Growing up as a child, Jesus did not sit, dead ass, Jesus did not sit on our Christmas tree, on top of our Christmas tree, or an angel. Literally, Joe Montana, who is a quarterback of the 49ers and was the quarterback like during their heyday when I was growing up. So I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I understand a good tailgate. I understand a good party. I understand when your team is winning, how that feels, and being in a stadium and all of that. But you can have that while also being critical of those in charge, those who are charging you $14 for a Diet Coke. Sorry, my phone is just blowing up. All my content. I'm just constantly bedeviled with meetings, etc. We were talking about the San Francisco 49ers. We were talking about the Giants. We were talking about the Dodgers, the Chavez Ravine. But I was going somewhere with this. Oh, you can still have all this. There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying if you like the Dodgers, you're a racist or you're a bigot or a hypocrite or anything like that. But, like, you also have the power to, like, maybe just think about, like, oh, that $20 beer I just bought, that $20 Bud Light that I just bought, where does that money go? It's not going to the concession workers or the people that are working unfair hours to make, and in unfair conditions to make all the merch that you're wearing. Like, it's going to the top. It's going to the owner. It's going to the select few standout players. It's not going to the person. Do you guys have a Lucille? Lucille is the mascot of the Giants. It's a cute little harbor seal. I think the Dodgers is just like a baseball, right? Like, I don't think that man is getting a living wage, or he's getting a living wage, but in comparison to the paychecks of other people, what do you think that looks like? Like, businesses, conglomerates, empires are innately, like, bad, you guys. Let's not forget the owner of the Giants, Mark Walter, is sitting here with investments in private prisons. He is making a profit off of the incarcerated. And I know there's a number. I didn't write it down because I went in to look into it, and media does sensationalize. I don't think it is as big of a stake as everyone wants to make it sound like. But I think any is still bad regardless of how much. 1% of a billion is still a lot of money, right? Like, so let's but yeah, he owns Guggenheim Partners, and they invest in a group that is a private prison company, and that company has built ICE detention centers. And you're not even going to let Neza sing in her native tongue? Let her sing. Let her sing. Let her sing. Let her sing. But now she's a villain. No one wants to talk to her or give her a deal or a contract because she's a rebel. She's a hazard. She's a risk. She doesn't listen to authority. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare. And then before you can even tell me, oh, well, they covered their ass, or, they said sorry. They finally broke their silence after hundreds of thousands of families have been broken apart due to ICE raids. They finally make a statement and make a $1 million donation. A $1 million donation to I don't even know what. Who knows? But they made a $1 million donation to something. One game of Dodgers baseball generates $4.2 million. So you donated a quarter of one game's revenue. One game out of how many? Like, dead ass. Like, is there like 137 games of baseball in a season? In one season. And you gave a quarter of one of those games you donated to the cause. Bullshit. You can't just throw money at a problem. I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden you're just like immune to any type of public scrutiny. Like, if y'all really think that's enough and to continue repping your Dodgers blue, then fine. You know what I mean? But like, then that makes me look at you a certain way and judge you a certain way based on your pride. Like, no one's saying you can't watch Dodgers ever again, but like, you're going to walk with it across your chest or on your head. Like, think about what you're doing and what you're promoting. Like, I don't know. It gets dangerous. And I really don't want to judge all of you, but let me tell you something, Dodger fans. I used to live on Lilac Terrace and Vin Scully Boulevard. Those who know, that is literally a block from the Dodger Stadium entrance. The amount of poop on my sidewalk, I don't own the sidewalk, I don't own the property, I'm a renter, but on my daily walks with my dog, the amount of poop on the sidewalk increased drastically during Dodger season. What is up with all you Dodgers fans and shitting on the sidewalk? That's weird. That's not a team I want to associate myself with, and a fandom that I want to associate with myself with. And again, I understand you're eating a lot of concession foods. We're drinking, da 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 da. Then maybe your team that you love so much should maybe provide more bathrooms, more porta potties right outside the venue, because that's disgusting. I don't think people are walking their dogs more during Dodger season. I can tell you that. Because everyone's dogs must be fucking Great Danes, because these are massive size shits on the sidewalk exclusively during Dodger season. Okay? So what are we in terms of Los Angeles pride, bringing it back to the point? What does it mean to be an Angelino? What does it mean to have Dodger pride? We're not gonna hold our owner responsible. We're not gonna be critical of the business side, because this is about community. Okay, well then what does your community stand for? What does your community get an uproar about? Not about Neza. Y'all just love shitting in the street? Good for you, Dodger fans. Whatever. We're moving on. Something else that happened in LA recently. Identity-changing event. The Palisades and Altadena fires. That fire had a name. I forget the name of it. Palisades and the... Who cares? The Palisades and the Altadena fires. And we had this beautiful Fire Aid concert, and all these celebrities came out. We had Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. Katy Perry went to fucking space. Yet, the Palisades are still a pile of rubble. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. $100 million raised. I'm not in the Palisades area. They don't let me over there. But I do, on the east side, know people that were affected in the Altadena fires. And it's just weeds. Just unkempt. Weeds have grown back. No house. There's 0 houses being built. You don't see any bulldozers or frameworks of houses being put up. Just weeds. Just dry weeds that'll probably catch fire next year and burn down the few sporadic houses that miraculously survived. I gotta assume the Palisades is gonna look the same. Like I said, I'm first of all not even gonna cross the 405 unless I'm suicidal. So like, and they don't like me over there. So I don't know what the vibe is over there, chat. I can't report or speak to that. However, all we could hear about during that, the relief and the aid of the fires, was there was too much food. There was actually too much food at one point, and food banks were having to turn away food because there was too much. So then we raised a bunch of money instead, allegedly to rebuild the community. There's an idea. Haven't seen much of that. And it was just $100 million raised by the Fire Aid concert that night. That one event raised $100 million. Not to mention all the other organizations and all the other donations that came in. Where is that money? I'm a Gaga stan through and through. However, I don't like billionaires. No one likes Katy Perry. And Billie Eilish is in love with her brother. I said it. So I don't trust any of them that they didn't pocket a bunch of that money somehow. I'm sure they had a fee. They didn't show up for free, $99 for this. No. Oh my God, the outpour of support. Oh, my community. Oh my gosh, we've never seen this before. The LA community coming together for what? Y'all got your Instagram story. Y'all got to share that you went to the food bank to drop off something once and feel, again, what I said I think at the top of this was the same thing you feel at church, the same thing you feel at a Trump rally, the same thing you feel at a sports event. You feel human connection. You touch grass one time, and you're just so blown away. You're just so blown away. This is groundbreaking. This is groundbreaking. Follow through, you guys. If you can continue to feel this way. You had to go out of your way to go and buy those pantry goods, toiletries, what have you, that you donated. You had to go out of your way, but it was worth it, right? It felt good when you did it finally. You can continue that if you just follow through and make sure that that time that you spent and donated actually goes to the right thing. Did I lose a button? I think I did. Excuse me. Before the fires, it was the strikes, the writer's strike. There was like the biggest WGA strike in the union's history. It was 2022 into 2023, I believe. Would that get us? All is fair? Are you joking? I mean, listen, again, I love the show. It's a train wreck. I cannot pull myself away. I honestly cannot. However, like, is that what we marched for? Is that really it? Because I thought we were trying to get like working writers more money, and that just has Nepo written all over it. I just why can't both things be true? This is a question I have. I don't have the answers for this. I'm so sorry. But I think All Is Fair has the right to exist. However, I also feel like studios need to be spending money on indie projects as well, and up and coming writers and shows and other things like that. We no longer live in a time where there's only so many time slots available to give out. This is the internet era. This is the streaming era. It just comes down to budget and how many shows they can produce at a time. And it's clear where the priorities lie. But, okay, we'll get to that. So, yeah, I mean, I love the show because it is funny and it is so bad. But then why does that get to be the number one show on Hulu? Or no, it can be number one. You shouldn't have to be number one to have success in this industry. I apologize. This is a real-time processing. Because, yeah, what is the solution? I don't want to just sit here and bitch. Really, what is the solution? Because, yeah, I just think studios need to have, I guess it's the same thing as, what's that one thing that everybody hates? It's in schools, it's DEI. Affirmative action. We need to be giving these opportunities to students coming out of schools. They can even be the prestigious ones, and it could be little Nepo babies in training. I don't even care. But there needs to be a younger, Ryan Murphy is not the only person with a gay POV. Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang aren't the only two gay men trying to make it in entertainment. Does that make more sense? I just don't. Of course we love Sarah Paulson. Of course we love Glenn Close. Of course we want to watch them go at each other. And it's beautiful. But the writing is absolute trash. The outfits honestly suck. I don't know who the stylist is on it, but it's getting embarrassing at this point. But that's camp. That's its own artistic expression. I don't think they're all supposed to be a serve. I think they are supposed to be kind of tongue-in-cheek. Tongue-and-cheek. I think all the outfits are a little bit tongue-in-cheek and self-referential. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. And then kind of our crescendo here, the one that kind of brought all of this together, because I've been thinking about the fires and I've been thinking about the Dodger victory and all of that stuff. And you want to celebrate and you want to be happy and you want to not think about the bad stuff and why you always got to be a Debbie Downer. But like, it all is kind of connected when you think about, a lot of people tie sports and athletics to a city's identity. So the whole Dodger thing kind of works. Fire Aid, that was a big, big tragedy, natural disaster that happened to our community. And again, we see the people mobilize. And so the people get to sleep easy at night because they're like, okay, I mobilized. I did my part. I showed up. And then it just kind of dies on the vine. Like and we're kind of like, oh, well, I guess, well. Like we should be continually raising money, continually being upset until all the people of Altadena have their homes back. No? I can't do that by myself. Okay? But yeah, so, and then last show I want to talk about is I Love LA. What is LA supposed to be in this situation? The girls are mad. Mad about what? I'm not really sure, to be quite honest with you. First and foremost, Rachel Sennott. I feel like people want to make the T silent, but I don't think it is. It's Sennott. Senate? Who cares? She does. She's a human. She has a name. We should learn her name. Rachel is a meme. She's a human being. She has feelings. But she's a meme. Let's not forget what put her on the map. Hold on. Oh my God. Wait. I just put 2 and 2 together. And maybe this is obvious. But not only is she a meme, but she is a meme for making fun of LA. Is she not? Playing Azealia Banks in the background. 2 and 2. Bump, ba-dum, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump. Come on. It's LA. I'm addicted to drugs. We all are. Don't have an eating disorder? Get one, bitch. This is LA. That meme, 8 years old. I hope it's not more. 6 years old, maybe, hopefully. And so this is the girl that we are entrusting with telling the most authentic LA love story possible. As if there isn't enough of those, by the way. And I'm saying we because we're letting her steer the discourse. It's not that we let a studio let her make this movie or show. Like, again, just like all is fair. Like, all is fair. All is fair in the business. Okay. There's room for everybody. There's room for good. There's room for bad. There's room, like, you have Oscar movies and you have blockbuster movies and you have indie movies. And I don't think the business model, I understand how the movies work because the box office and the tickets is what generates the revenue for the people working on the film. But when you're in a Netflix, Peacock, Hulu situation, they got your money when you signed up for the monthly. It doesn't matter what they're watching. The company got their money, right? So I don't think like this has to be the one and only show about LA. I mean, the only thing that's coming to my head right now is La La Land, which was a movie, an Oscar-nominated movie, an Oscar-nominated bad movie about LA that still got a whole award press circuit for being about LA. So I just really don't think that, like, this is Rachel's cross to bear. It's a silly little show about a bunch of little silly transplants, all with this idea of what it means to move to LA. And that should be the bigger issue, is, I think, instead of just calling out that, she has such a different experience than a native Angelino, let's talk about just that itself as an entity, as a thing. Like, LA is so diverse, not in just the culture and the ethnicity and the ages and the religions and backgrounds and cultures that live here, but just the single stark transplant versus native experience. And, I thought LA was supposed to be this land of starving artists. I come from San Francisco. Like, I love community. I love rallying together. I love a grassroots movement. Okay? I thought there'd be more of that here, but it feels quite the opposite. It's only the rich getting richer, the famous getting famouser. Like, it really doesn't. It's a dog eat dog world out here. It is intense, honey, out in LA. Okay. And Miss Ma'am did not do herself any favors on the subway takes. Did you see the Rachel Sennott subway takes? Her hot take was that everyone should be addicted to one thing so they know that they can get out of an addiction, so they can survive it. To which the host is like, "What are you talking about, lady? This is crazy." And then she and then her addiction that she got over was nicotine, which just feels very tone deaf to like all the alcoholics and like opioid addicted people and suffering out there. Like, LOL. I mean, it comes back to her little meme, like, you got an eating disorder? Get one, bitch. Like, don't have an addiction? Get one, bitch. Like, she's just a silly little girl, and she's a meme, and she got Charlie XCX's attention, and so that is how this industry works. Don't act shocked. Stop acting shocked that why this show is on the air. It has nothing to do with the writing. It has nothing to do with how authentic her connection and ties are to Los Angeles. I mean, they're even showering her as like, this is like a big Gen Z show. This is the Gen Z version of Girls, the West Coast Gen Z. All those people are like 35 in that show, you guys. They're all millennials. That is very much a millennial experience. But anyhow, that's a whole separate episode of how society just wants to bash on millennials all the time, and we are the forgotten generation. But yeah, I just feel like we're all kind of missing the plot, right? Like, let's just kind of focus on the transplant versus native experiences, and why are those so completely different, and why aren't those who are moving here interested in giving back to the community? It is very individualistic. It is very look out for yourself and nobody else. And that's why we're all miserable, by the way, because what happens when we gather or we mobilize? It feels great. It's the human experience, and we need to be focusing more on that. Like, who has the right to tell a story? It's just a story at the end of the day. This is not a nonfiction documentary. This is a fictional series about a girl living in LA. Because I was also feeling very conflicted. Like, I loved Amelia Perez. I thought Amelia Perez was great. And I understand the queers community's outrage in terms of, like, it was a white French heterosexual man who made it. Like, what does he have to say about the queer community? It was still a beautiful story. I think it respected the experiences that trans folks go through. They hired a trans actress who, obviously ended up being quite problematic. Woof. That didn't help things. I think it was kind of a 1-2 punch. But like, basically, like, who has the right to tell a story? You can have the Amelia Perez stories, but you can't be boxing out the authentic ones, I guess, in the process, right? Like, we don't have any mainstream queer trans dramas that are getting nominated for Oscars, right? There isn't even, should there be a queer category? Is that what we want? I don't know. But like there's a foreign film category. There could be a queer film category. I don't know. Because in that way, it doesn't make it so exclusionary. If there can only be one queer film in the Oscars, then obviously, yeah, I would like it to go to a queer filmmaker, obviously. But I don't get to make those rules. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't understand what the big deal is. I thought it was beautiful. It was silly. Penis to vagina, penis to vagina, or whatever the lyrics were. Hysterical. I love it. I live. We got to not take it so seriously. But at the same time, it's a very serious subject. And those folks need to have the same opportunities that the fortunate ones do and the cis ones do. Like, why can't there be both? Also, just like the innate misogyny in it all, right? Like, I feel like the show Overcompensating, Benito Skinner's show on Amazon. I watched it. I attempted to watch it. I got at least 5-6 episodes in and I had to bail because I had heard that story before. It was not groundbreaking. This closeted, handsome, muscled white man struggling with his own homosexual identity during college. Like, yeah, been there, done there, got the t-shirt. And it was celebrated very much like, oh my gosh, what a great coming of age story, da 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 da. And like, yeah, it didn't exist, but like, I look at that no differently than I look at I Love LA. Like, that is such a tired, like the transplant experience and going to Tenants of the Trees and having a best friend who's a super out of touch influencer. Like, that story is so tired, honestly. And maybe it's because I've just lived it and it's what's happening here every single day. But same thing as being a gay person. Like, oh my God, you played sports? Like, okay, Troy Bolton. Like, what are we doing? But that was celebrated as something great, and it got a second season, and everyone was so excited for him. And if you didn't like it, you were homophobic. But then a woman tries to do this, Rachel, and all of a sudden everyone's got something to say. Everyone's got a problem with it. We're dissecting her age. We're dissecting her point of view, and if it's authentic and really what it means to be in LA. Like, it's giving Don't Shoot the Messenger vibes. Like, they're just artists too, trying, like, this is what they think is funny. This is what they think is entertaining. And they pitched it to someone and they got a studio to say yes. What is wrong with that? The issue is the people at the studio, not the creators, not Benny Drama, not Rachel Sennott. It is the studios who are all gatekeeping and choosing what they spend their money on, while also keeping their beautiful lush green lawns nice and green and alive through the desert summers and the yada yada this and the yada yada that, and paying for their private firefighters to fight their homes and save their homes in all of these fires before the rest of the community. Like, it's all fucking rotten. But what I don't need to see is another Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell rom-com. I don't need to see Dakota Johnson playing the love interest stuck between two guys again. That's the stuff that's taking up the airspace. I would much rather Rachel or Benny take a swing and miss than watch another tired version of a heterosexual love story. We all have this idea of what LA should be. That's really what we should be talking about. I keep saying we should be talking about it, and then we're not talking about it, and I'm running out of time. But basically, like, this show and this miss, let's call it, just for the sake of time and how everyone else is feeling, this big miss that Rachel made, just exemplifies what the norm has become. Rachel's not the only one that feels this way about LA. Okay, like the reason this actually is being made is because someone else read the script and was like, yeah, I feel the same way. Oh my God, you're totally right. Like, this is going on today. It's hyperbole, but it's actually going on. And that's why you see, like, I was at the farmer's market one day and I saw somebody dead ass with a wagon carrying a tortoise that had to be at least 400 pounds. The biggest fucking tortoise I have ever seen in my life was mobile in the back of a wagon being carried through the most crowded farmer's market in LA, the Larchmont Farmer's Market. And I get the sentiment. Cute turtle, funny bit, feeding it lettuce at the farmer's market, giving it cute little nectarine samples. In the meantime, you're giving me a fucking black and blue foot and I'm losing toenails in the process because you and your 400-pound turtle are rolling over my toes. It is so fucking performative out here. No one can go to the farmer's market. No one can go and donate money. No one can go to a sports game without, it's such just this paradox. We're all trying to be this main character. This is what it's like to be. This is LA. This is LA. Touch grass and talk to somebody from LA, please. Or just a human being and like check yourself. Like, that's what I think is like cool. Like, New Yorkers like have like this way about them. I'm walking over here. Like, they are assholes. They tell you how it is. And this is New York. Get used to it or get out. Like, do we have that for LA? It's all, everyone in LA is so nice. Oh my God, everyone comes to California. We're all so nice to your face, and then hire somebody else less credentialed for a job because they're hotter or have more followers. Like, what? Like, we're fighting so hard for this identity and the right way to tell a story about LA. Then what should the story be? I thought the story was that we're the land of starving artists, but somewhere along the line, it's become the land of the $20 Hailey Bieber smoothie. That's not for the community. What are ways that we can accomplish life-affirming work together and bring back community and bring back the human experience? I've been to a couple meetups for the Queer Film Collective. Those are some people that are walking the walk. That is the first gay networking event that it did not feel like everyone was there just to see who they were going to sleep with next or who they could social climb. Like, it feels like, how are we able to help each other instead of just coming to a bar and all just sharing what we've been working on? Like, how boring. Like, are you sharing what you've been working on because you're also hiring an audio guy or a PA and you need some extra hands? No. We're all just trying to like one-up each other and impress the other person. I don't know. So you guys tell me, what does it mean to be an Angelino? Because, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, no one really knows. And the reason why there's all, because like I said at the top, LA is in an identity crisis. Like, what got me to move down here was the stories of the people that were in the gig industry and would just, constantly grinding, street performers, catering bartenders and servers, figuring it out, taking every audition, going to every interview. And it's just so much just shutting the door behind us these days, it feels like. And yeah, I'm annoyed. Like, when you go to these networking events, typically, like, people ask, what do you do? And the answer is always how you pay your bills or how you make rent. Like, how boring. Like, if that is what your identity is, how you survive, like, how lame. I'm sorry. I'm tired of that conversation. And by the way, I don't care how you pay your rent. I want to know what you do. What do you do to feel fulfilled? What do you do to feel completed? Like, we've been sold this like snake oil that, oh, if you love what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. Yeah, that's just capitalism trying to get a couple more hours out of you. Because then you'll be willing to work longer hours if you love what you do. So they can take advantage of you and you don't actually get to work on what you're passionate about. So I'm passionate about running this mouth. And so that's why I'm going to keep showing up here week after week at the LA Public Library to tell y'all what's up. If you love the Dodgers, go blue. If you're watching All Is Fair or I Love LA, keep watching it. If you're entertained by it, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you have a problem with the stuff being made or the stuff that's on the air, why don't you, from your comfy little privileged situation, do something about it? Or reach out to somebody and get coffee with somebody and actually try to create something together without the followers, without the glam, and figure it out and actually be a community and actually form some kind of identity instead of being beholden to fucking Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. That's who you're peddling to at the end of the day. We're no longer artists. We're all just trying to get our next brand deal or our next makeup line or our next whatever. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep running my mouth. And I think you guys should keep listening. But I'm out of time today, so I'm going to come back next week and ramble some more. Bye.